Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life, and today I wanted to share with you the books that I bought and was gifted in the month of July. So the day this video is going up on my channel is July 30th, which happens to be my birthday, and because I then had to pre-film this video in order to upload it for this day, we haven't actually celebrated my birthday with my family yet, and there are a couple books that I had requested for my birthday from some family members that will not make it into this haul, but I will share them with you in August, and I'll be sure to point out specifically which books those were that I received for my birthday. I have a couple books here. One that I received, well, it came in the mail at the end of June, that didn't make it in my June haul, two gifts, and a couple that I bought for myself off my own wish list just as a birthday present to myself. And then I also picked up a couple Audible books that I think it was Audible was running a sale, and I want to say these books were all a part of the like member price. They were all the like $6.95 price or whatever it was for the daily deals or something like that. It was some price that was really affordable, that I just bought using my credit card versus using credits, because if a book costs less than what a credit costs, I will use my own money and save my credits for those like $25 or $30 books. So I guess we'll just start with the books I picked up from Audible to get those out of the way so I don't forget them, since they're not sitting in a stack right next to me. The first book I picked up on Audible was Emma by Jane Austen. I have plans to read this for the NEWTs in August, and I do own a Barnes & Noble paperback, actually it's over here, paperback classic already of this, but I figured I would probably be able to get through it a little quicker if I listen to it on audiobook. It will be my first time reading it, so I'm really excited to experience the story that seems to be one of Jane Austen's most beloved, aside from Pride and Prejudice, one of her beloved novels that she finished. The next book I picked up on Audible was Becoming Mrs. Lewis by Patty Callahan, and I picked this book up just because I was scrolling through the section and the cover really intrigued me, and when I read the synopsis it sounded interesting as well. I believe from what I remember of the synopsis, it is kind of a story about Mrs. Lewis. I don't know what her maiden name was, but the woman who later became the wife of C.S. Lewis, and it just kind of their meeting and their courtship and things like that, and how she really inspired him in his writing. And this just seems like it is going to be a very wholesome and sweet story, so it looked interesting. And one of my favorite childhood series is The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, so I figured I would give this one a shot. And the last book I picked up was The Distant Hours by Kate Morton. I think this one came through on a BookBub Kindle deal, and I was going to originally pick it up on Kindle, but then I saw that it was also included in the discounted price on Audible, and I really enjoyed listening to The Forgotten Garden on Audible, so I figured I would as well. And I enjoyed The Forgotten Garden so much that I really do want to pick up more books by Kate Morton. I just didn't know where to start, because I feel like she's one of those authors that has quite a few books, and that ended up being my jumping off place, was The Distant Hours, because of the deal. So I'm really looking forward to reading another Kate Morton book. As you can tell, I'm not really giving synopses on these books because I feel like when you watch book hauls and things like that, people always give pretty detailed synopses, and I'm just not very good at it. I read the back of the book and basically tell you exactly what the back of the book says, and I figured that you can go to Goodreads or Google the title of books and read the synopsis yourself. And since I haven't read these books, I can't really give any more insight onto them. So I figured I would just share with you why I was interested in picking them up, to maybe give a little bit of a different perspective on why people pick up books. So that's basically what I'm doing here. But I think I am going to start with my book hauls, leaving the links to the Goodreads pages for each book in the description box below. So if you are interested in any of the books I'm talking about, you can easily click on the link there and be directed towards the page so you can read a bit more. So the one book that I didn't haul in time for June was Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. This was supposed to be, I think, the August book for the Cosmere Read Along, which has come to a standstill at this moment due to the creator's controversy and all that other good stuff. I felt like I rushed through the first era of Mistborn a little too quickly, so I think I want to read Brandon Sanderson on my own time, at my own pace. I think I would get a bit more of it, his writings and his stories, that way. So Warbreaker was supposed to be for August. I'm definitely not picking it up in August, but I think it's the next book of his that I do want to pick up. And this one, I was going to buy on Book Depository, which is how I've bought the other white covers of Brandon Sanderson's books before, but I found this one on Amazon, US Amazon, for a little cheaper than what Book Depository had, so I just bought it off there. So really looking forward to this. As far as I'm aware, this is currently a standalone with the potential to be turned into a series, and this seems like it's another favorite, but also not very talked about book of Brandon Sanderson. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that one. I got 2 birthday gifts a little early, both of them from my friend Eric at the channel Break Even Books. I will leave a link to his channel down below. We met, when did we meet? Have we been friends now for a year? Maybe about a year. Eric and I have been doing quite a few buddy reads together, so we talk fairly regularly, and I noticed that his Twitter handle had said like Break Even Books birthday is soon or something like that. I was like, wait a second, when's your birthday? Because my birthday's soon, and found out that our birthdays are only a week apart. So we shared our Amazon wish list with each other and each bought each other 2 books. So the books that Eric picked out for me are Well Met by Jen DeLuca, which I've seen a lot of people raving about this book. I don't read a lot of contemporary romance. I'm mostly a fantasy reader, but this one just looked so cute. It's got a Renaissance fair background, which I've never personally done, but I think I could really fall into a rabbit hole of Renaissance fair things. And it's just got kind of that like hate to love relationship in it, which sounds fun to read. I know this is now a series. I think it's called the Well Met series. So I'm looking forward to reading this story and following these characters and kind of living vicariously through them. The next book Eric got me is Just Breathe, which is a book that Eric has read before. Our first buddy read was 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott, and both of these books deal with kids with cystic fibrosis. So I remember Eric saying he enjoyed reading this as well, and I thought it would be really interesting to pick this up and then kind of see how the stories compare, like the characters' different experiences with cystic fibrosis. So he picked this one up for me, and I really do hope that I'm going to be able to pick it up soon. I think I'll probably try for September since my August is really, really booked. So now on to the books I bought myself. There's really no rhyme or reason as to why I picked these books up. and decided that those were the ones that I wanted most off of my wish list, other kind of than looking at price. I typically buy off my own wish list or buy hardcover books or like physical books when I see the percentage has dropped a lot, and when it's more affordable to buy them. So the first book I have here is The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury. I do want to read this book in October. I remember watching this movie when I was younger, but I only remember like bits and pieces of it and not the full thing. So I thought this would be a lot of fun to read. It's just a little middle grade book, and I figure that when I'm done with it, I can pass it on to my son. It's 145 pages, just a sweet little chapter book, and it's got illustrations and things like that. So I think he might enjoy this too. We'll see. But yeah, I wanted to revisit this story in book format since I think I just found out last year it was an actual book. Another book I hope to pick up for October time frame is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I've never read this book before, but to me it always sounds like a different version of Jane Eyre, but I think there's an actual ghost phantom-y type thing and not the illusion of a ghost phantom-y type thing. But this one seems a little creepy and just like it could be really interesting. I know Tara over at Buzzword Books, she just tried to read this with her mom and neither of them were feeling it, but it was kind of like a softie enough for them. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to feel the same way that Tara and her mom did, and hopefully I will like this. But we'll see how it goes. I'm intrigued by it. I also picked up the Caraval series. So I've got all 3 books. I read Caraval via audiobook maybe 2 years ago when it first came out. It was before Legendary came out. And I'll have to admit I was a little disappointed in it because my expectation of the book and what I thought it was pretty different from what it ended up being. But I think now that I've removed myself from the hype a little bit, these books don't really get talked about all that often anymore. I can go into this again with fresh eyes and maybe experience the story in a different way and maybe actually enjoy it this time. I'm still intrigued enough by the story that I wanted to pick up the rest of the books in the series. So I picked them all up in the beautiful paperback editions, which have foiling and things like that on them. So we've got Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. So really intrigued to see what this series ends like. I guess there is a rhyme or reason as to why I picked these books up. These all kind of give me fall and cold weather vibes, and that's what season we're going into here soon. So books that I would like to pick up during that season. The next book I picked up was Dark and Deepest Red by Anna Marie McLemore. I have now read all the books this author has published except for this one. This one is a retelling of someone dancing. I don't think it's like the 12 Dancing Princesses, but it's someone who dances. And basically what Anna Marie McLemore does is retells kind of fairy tales that we know with Latina characters, which I think is really cool. They also write a lot of magical realism, and I just love this author's writing style. So really excited to read this book as well. Got 2 books left. Next one is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I know a lot of people have been disappointed by this book. It's not exactly what they're expecting. It didn't follow a character that anyone particularly cares for, and to get a backstory of this character who has done so much like harm and hurt in the trilogy that we know. A lot of people just didn't feel that sympathetic, didn't feel connected to the character, didn't really care about their backstory. I still want to know what my thoughts and opinions are going to be on this. I know for the lead up to this release, a lot of people were rereading the trilogy. I would like to, I think, reread the trilogy, but I think I would like to start with the prequel and then read the trilogy and see how my thoughts on President Snow are from that point of view. I mean, I'm never going to like the guy because he's awful, but I think it'd be interesting to go in chronological order with the story. Well, we almost made it all the way through before my camera overheated and turned off. I'm going to apologize. There's a window right next to me and it sounds like my neighbors and the kids are in the pool right now and they're screaming. So if you hear a little chattering in the background, that's all it is. So the final book I have is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer, which is the second book in what I believe is called the Cursebreakers trilogy. I picked this book up because my friend Darshell over at the channel Books and Planners and I are planning to read this entire trilogy. I think we're gonna start maybe November, December timeframe because I believe the last book comes out in January or February of next year. So we were gonna read these first two books right before the third book came out, and I do think that I'm gonna like this. I'm trying to be better about not buying the rest of series or multiple books in series unless I've read the first book, but this one is, I think, a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so I do think that I'm gonna enjoy it. And the covers are really beautiful, and I'm planning to do buddy read, so justified, I think. We'll find out. But I think I'll like this, so really excited to get into this in the fall. But that is everything for my book haul. Picked up quite a few books. Only one is a book that I've read so far, so the rest are going straight to the TBR pile. Ever growing, never shrinking. Even though I'm trying so hard to make it shrink, it's not. But that's okay. I like having options. I like having books to pick from, and I like having a collection. One day I'll have a room in my house that is just gonna be my office and like an entire wall of books. I'm acting like I don't already have an entire wall of books behind me right now, but I want a library, which I think most book lovers want. So that is everything that I picked up for the month of July. I'm really excited to get into these books. Definitely planning on picking up quite a few of these here in the next couple of months. Once the weather starts changing, we get to see the leaves start changing, which I've actually got completely random. I've got a maple tree in my front yard that was really confused by our Washington summer at the beginning of July, end of June, so it's already changing colors, but I am excited for when the rest of the leaves change and we get to cozy up in sweaters and things like that again. So definitely looking forward to the books that I have and can't wait to read some more. I would love to know if you've read any of these books before, if you also have them on your TBRs, what your thoughts are around them, if there's anything that's screaming, calling your name that you maybe want to do a buddy read with me with. I would love to know, so please do let me know down in the comments below, and I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!